Welcome to Textile Update. This is Gwendolyn Hustvedt. I want to talk about wool. Big surprise! Because I have a cool book, right? All about wool. It is a swatch book that I got at the Pendleton outlet. They have outlets all over the country. This was the outlet in Nebraska. And I got this, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, because my passion for wool has been going on for a long time. It's kind of a lifetime affair. So the cool thing about this book is that this is actually a pre-assembled swatch kit. So those of you who are in my class who are students have to assemble your own swatch kit, and it covers all kinds of fibers. But this particular swatch kit as part of the fabric reference series, and there's another one about silk, but I've never been able to find it. That's okay, because I'm really in love with wool. It was the 1997 Small Press Book Award winner, right? So this swatch book about wool, and it was written and illustrated by Julie Parker. It is volume 3, right? And so I think there must be even another one, I don't think I'm missing any. It really does have quite a lot of material in it. But this one here, let's talk about this book. First of all, let me just share a little bit about the table of contents with you. This is kind of a handy textbook for people who are in love with wool. It has an introduction. It talks about the physical characteristics of the fiber, looking at it under the microscope. That's something I love. I wrote a paper on advancements in the morphology of wool, i.e. how fancy new microscopes let us know more. It talks about the history of sheep and wool, counting sheep, so different types of breeds of sheep, and the whole process going from shearing to finishing through grading, scouring, spinning, and weaving. And then it has 30 different wool fabrics. It has a whole set of specialty hair fibers. It has examples of different types of wool, types of weaves. Then it also talks about the characteristics of wool, working with wool, types of yarn, and then it has all of these lists and notes. So this is basically like a textbook just about wool. And let's see here, let me show you an example. So here is a swatch right there, right? So that is a boucle, and it talks about some different kinds. Astrakhan cloth, thick, luxurious coating with a lofty pile of loops or curls made to look like the fleece of the Persian lamb, also called Astrakhan lamb. Hopefully I pronounced that right. The pile may be looped or cut and is usually made of lustrous wool or loosely twisted mohair yarns. Background fabric may be woven or knitted of wool and cotton. Cool, huh? So when would we ever talk about Astrakhan cloth? Well, now we have. Boucle, of course, is the word for curl, right? This is the yarn that has the curly loops. Those of you in my textiles class, you actually have an example with boucle in your kit because we talk about the boucle yarn. Another cool thing that this particular kit has is that it lists the properties, right, as check marks, and it gives you some details about the yarns. So this is definitely a book about wool that I love and can strongly recommend. There is another book that I love and can strongly recommend, and this is a book that you can find. It's called Matthew's Textile Fibers, right? And the one that I have, oh, look how big and heavy that is. This is like the Bible for textiles. I got mine on an online used book vendor. You'll notice that it's dated, it's from Montreal, dated 1949. It's important that you get one that is before the 50s, so this was copyright in 1947, because in the 50s they took a bunch of the natural stuff out to put in synthetics, which they kind of had to do because they were getting hot and popular. But we really want to know about the obscure natural ones, right? Right? Okay, so you can see that it just has incredibly rich detail, right? And it has a whole section about wool. It talks about wool starting on page yeah, starting on page 450. And it just talks about the history, the grade, and statistic. Now, these are statistics from 1947, let's be honest, but still, right? And then it talks on starting on page 507. So 57 pages about that. Then on page 507, it talks about the microscopical and physical properties of wool. Yay! And it does that for until page 561. Yes. And then it talks about the chemical nature and property of wool. And it does that until page 615, 50 pages of chemistry. And then it talks about specialty hair fibers from 615 to 653. Then it talks about textile fur fibers, brush fibers, and down brush fibers. And only on page 679 does it finally get to silk. Amazing, amazing. This book has been completely scanned by the Google Book Project and is available for free at Google. Just a tip. And they scanned one of the older ones. They have to because of the copyright issue, which means that you're getting the very best Bible online, yours, anytime you want it. All right, so I just wanted to talk about some of the, I mean, of course, I use textbooks, right? Lots of textbooks about textiles, but those are two resources about wool that I adore. Sorry about that sort of sound that you're hearing. They're moving furniture upstairs. I'm excited for them because they got new furniture, but however, we must progress. Super.